Shri Sai Ram, offering most humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our ever-present Lord, invoking Bhagwan's presence and benediction in this holy Satsang. Dear sisters and brothers, my loving Sai Ram to all of you. Firstly, I offer today's Satsang at the divine lotus feet. I am very grateful to Bhagwan for this wonderful blessing of being here in this beautiful land with more beautiful people speaking on the most beautiful subject, that is the teachings of Bhagwan. And I am very grateful to all of you for the love and hospitality that we have been the recipients of from the day we landed on this beautiful land. See, once Swami asks a group of devotees, what is the rare phenomenon on this Mother Earth? And a devotee immediately promptly replies, Swami, to get liberation, moksha, it is not so easy. It is very, very rare, Swami. Then Swami says, no, that is not the correct answer. And everyone is silent. Then Swami goes on to answer this question when he says, when God descends on this earth in a human form, that is a very rare phenomenon. So we can all, congratulate ourselves, isn't it? We know that God, we have seen this avatar who has descended to this Mother Earth in a beautiful human form. Then Swami said, rarer than this is when you know that He is God. That is where our blessing is doubled, isn't it? There are so many on this Mother Earth who do not know that Bhagwan Baba is avatar. Probably, they think he is a Mahapurusha, a great being who has done yeoman service to humanity. And there are people who do not have this blessing. And how blessed we are, isn't it? Then Swami said, the rarest of all this is, Swami said, when you get an opportunity to serve this God in human form, in His divine mission, that is the rarest blessing. See, dear brothers and sisters, we are all a part of this divine mission, and that is probably, I would say, not a blessing of, once in a lifetime, but probably an unparalleled blessing of many, many lifetimes. And Swami also once told in Kodaikanal, all the punya karma, all the meritorious deeds that you have done in your past lives, that is enough to earn just my first darshan. When you have my first darshan, all that good deeds is nullified. That's all. And after that, thereafter, Swami said, it is only my compassion and it is only my love for you. And to be the recipients of this love, to be with Him, to serve Him, that is the greatest blessing. And what is this Sathya Sai avatar all about? See, unlike the previous we have all heard about and also, studied about the previous avatars. Some of previous avatars like Lord Rama and Lord Krishna, isn't it? And these avatars were probably confined to royal household. They were kings and kingmakers. So, probably in Treta Yuga, very few Vanaras had this blessing of darshan, sparshan, sambhashan with the Lord. And with Lord Krishna, it was the Pandavas and few Gopalas and Gopikas. But look at Sathya Sai avatar. As Swami himself says, never in the history of mankind before an avatar walked like this, talked like this, joked like this with the entire humanity, guiding multitudes of people on the path of spirituality. And that is our greatest blessing. And Swami has assured in this avatar, the wicked will not be punished. they will be transformed. So if at all there is an opportunity for us for this transformation, self-transformation, there is no better time for us than being a generation on this Mother Earth when Bhagwan Baba appeared as avatar, and to know him, to be touched by him, our lives are touched by him. See, even those who have come to Swami's fold post Mahasamadhi, why are they here? Why are they in the organization? Because their hearts are touched by Bhagwan, their lives are touched by Bhagwan. And once this happens, once we are touched by his love, our life will never be the same, isn't it? It takes a different turn. And that is why he said, to guide you on this path of spirituality, this avatar has come, and for this transformation and the organization that he has given us, where we all do Seva. What is it? Like, it itself is known as Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization. It is a service organization. After all, Bhagwan himself has said, the hands that serve are holier than the lips that pray. But the Seva that we do is with a difference, isn't it? As Swami himself says, it is for our transformation and to realize our innate divinity that Bhagwan has given this organization, and that is our greatest blessing. See, when this avatar comes to, when God descends in the form of this avatar, there is this double blessing for us. We get an opportunity to relate to God. See, till then, this God is this abstract subject for us, isn't it? Some principle and, some presence, we do not know much about it. But when God comes in human form, then what happens is we get an opportunity to humanize our relationship with the divine. That's why, to some Bhagwan is the fathers, to some Bhagwan is the loving mother, and some even treat Bhagwan as their friend. And this is how we get an opportunity to humanize our divine relationship. And also, when we learn from Bhagwan and start practicing the teachings of Bhagwan, we even learn to divinize our human relationship, which means we start seeing Bhagwan in everyone, and that is how we serve mankind, isn't it? That is the greatest opportunity that comes with being with Avatar. So what is our responsibility in this, avatarhood, or being the contemporaries of the Avatar? Once Swami was introducing a group of students to a very famous dignitary who had visited Prasanthi Nilayam, and Swami said, "These are my MS students." This is how Swami introduced the students to these dignitaries. And this MS means Master of Science, we all know. But the Sathya Sai University, Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, does not offer this MS degree. But Swami introduced them as MS students. And after these eminent personalities left, Swami called the students and said, "Did you feel proud that I introduced you to them as MS students?" As usual, the students were quiet. Then Swami said, "Do you know what MS stands for?" Swami said, March, September. March, September. March, you write the exam, you don't pass, then you go and write the supplementary exam again in September, then also you don't pass, and again come to March, again September. It just goes on and on and on, and this is how we are all, isn't it? So it is like Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. That's what Swami said. You die, you come back, you die, you come back. Actually, in Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, the next line is Punarapi Janani Jathare Shayanam. Means the baby lies in the womb of the mother. See, we all want, palatial mansions to live where there is cross ventilation, we say. But in the womb of the mother, there is not even a small window, isn't it? It is such a hot atmosphere, and the baby is lying there in its own, filth, and that is what it is. Do we want to come back to this again and again? We have to ask ourselves. And the greatest opportunity to get out of this cycle of Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, that is put an end to this March. September, that is the greatest blessing for us. See, in Viveka Chudamani, it is said, it is only by the greatest blessing of God that we get these triple boons. Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha Samshraya. Manushyatvam means a human birth. The human birth is not so easy to get by, because it is only in this human birth, as Swami says, what is man? M-A-N. Swami says M is Maya, overcome. You are capable of overcoming that Maya itself. A, Swami says, Atma, realize. You realize your innate divinity, that you are that consciousness. And N is, Swami says, Nirvana, attain. You can attain to that state of ultimate freedom. Put an end to this MS patch. That is the greatest opportunity when you are born as man, Swami says. And Swami also said, you know why this man is given a straight spine? Our vertebral column is straight, isn't it? We can sit straight like this. Because Swami said, man can sit erect, meditate, and become the divine. That is the greatest opportunity that comes to us when we get this human birth. We all know the legendary stories of Sai Gita, isn't it? Bhagwan's dear elephant, known for her devotion. And you know, she was so connected to Bhagwan. Sai Gita would dance in joy and ecstasy, being in her shed. You all know Sai Gita shed? You have come to Puttaparthi opposite the institute, you know. She would be in her shed. And when Bhagwan starts from Prasanthi Nilayam, if he goes out, Sai Gita would sense that, because she was so connected to Bhagwan, and she would dance in joy. That was her connection, inner connection with Bhagwan. You know, we all know Swami always emphasizes it is not interview that mattered, it is inner view. And Sai Gita, being an elephant, she had this inner view. And Swami once said, for all the devotion that Sai Gita has for me, I am going to reward her with a human birth in her next life. So it is so hard to get by. And the very fact that, you know, we have got this human birth, that itself shows how blessed we are. And then we come to Mahapurusha Samshraya, which means discipleship or company of an illumined master. What more do we need, isn't it, in this lifetime than God Himself as our Guru to teach us? As Swami said, the wicked will not be punished, they will be transformed. This is the greatest opportunity. So what is our responsibility in this? The in-between thing, mumukshutva. Mumukshutva means deep yearning to be liberated from this cycle of birth and death. And that is our own responsibility, isn't it? Having got this human birth, having got the master who is ready to teach all this. As Swami himself says, I will give you what you want in the beginning. That's what happens to us when we come to Swami's fold. We pray to Bhagwan and there are miracles in our lives and we have experienced this. And you know, He rescues us whenever we pray to Him. And this we call as miracles of Swami. And Swami says it is chamatkar. And what does Swami say about chamatkar? Swami says it is only my visiting card. To draw you unto me, I show this chamatkar, I show this visiting card. And once, you know, we have experienced this chamatkar, Swami says, I give you what you want in the beginning so that you come to me seeking what I have come to give you. That is the highest freedom itself. So this is the greatest opportunity being with Bhagwan to develop this, you know, deep yearning for liberation. And Swami also cautions us. When the Kalpa Vriksha, the wish-fulfilling tree, is in front of you and it is capable of giving you the highest, Swami says, but you come to me asking for 2 kilos of coffee powder. And this is what we are all doing, isn't it? Seeking tinsel and trash from, you know, all these worldly things. So, even when we come to Bhagwan, if we are using God as the goal, God as the means to reach world as the goal, then this mumukshutvam will not happen. The very, you know, blessing of being with Bhagwan will be lost. Instead, there should be a shift. We will use world as the goal itself. Whatever we are doing, whatever, position the Provident has put us in, that having come into this world, we have so many responsibilities, so many roles to fulfill. But we will use all these things, the world itself as the means to attain to Swami as the goal. That is our responsibility. Once during a Tamil New Year celebration, a speaker, a learned speaker had spoken before Bhagwan. And Bhagwan in his discourse says, see, the previous speaker said, when you take one step, Swami will take 100 steps towards you. Then Swami said, what is this first step? If you take the first step in the direction of the world, never I will take 100 steps towards you. But if you take first step towards the higher goal in your life, then at once I will help you to climb 100 steps and I will take you to that goal. So that is our responsibility. How to use the blessing that we have got. See, it is very important. It is important to value the master, yes, but it is far more important to master his values. The best way to value our master is to master his values. That is our responsibility, and only then our life can become his message. See, Swami being the best teacher, he has taught, he has done his job. He has given us the syllabus, he has given us the lesson plan, isn't it? The best teacher that he is, he has given us the notes as well. All his teachings are available to us. This is the legacy that Bhagwan has left behind. So, our responsibility to be good students, study his teachings and practice them. And it is up to us to study, write the exam and pass the exam. And if we are able to get 33 or 34 marks, maybe 1 or 2 marks short of the passing marks, which may be 35, then we get his grace, and that grace will give us the grace marks and he will pass the exam. But to get to there is our responsibility, our self-effort. And especially now when the form of this beautiful form of Bhagwan is no more with us. See, when the form of Lord was available to us, we would all go to Prasanthi Nilayam and have the darshan of this form. And darshan would be like meditation. Looking at Bhagwan himself, we would be so lost, isn't it? That darshan itself was enough to give us so much energy, and it was like meditating. But now, when the form is no more available with us, this meditation should become darshan. That is why it is very important for us, especially today, to look inwards and seek Bhagwan in our own heart and connect to him. And that is possible by practicing what he has taught us, the 5 human values. His teachings are there for us. After all, Sai is S-A-I-C, always inside. That is especially very important for us. It is not the internet, but the inner net is what we need to do, especially when the form is not there, to shift our focus from form outside to form within in our own heart. So, personal sadhana that we do to connect to Swami is very, very important for us. And Bhagwan, lays so much emphasis on sadhana, especially in Brahma Muhurta. That is early morning, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Swami says, whatever sadhana that you do throughout the day, Swami says, my bank has 2 types of accounts. In a bank, generally, you have the savings account and you have the fixed deposit, isn't it? Whatever sadhana you do from morning till evening, throughout the day to connect to Bhagwan, that is like savings account. That gets accumulated in your savings account and you get the interest, no doubt. That interest is nothing but Bhagwan's grace itself. And that interest will come to your rescue whenever you have any worldly problem. We have all experienced this grace of Bhagwan in our lives, isn't it? So many prayers are answered by Bhagwan. Even in our worldly life, when we are going through difficulties, it is Bhagwan who rescues us. And Swami says that will be used for, your worldly benefits whenever you need my grace, when you are in trouble. But Swami says, the sadhana that you do in Brahma Muhurtam, that is like a fixed bank account. All that is accumulated in that account, and the grace that you get, the interest that you get from that account is exclusively for your spiritual progress. So I would say it is very important for us to do some form of sadhana in Brahma Muhurtam, early morning, especially when the entire household is asleep. It is very, easy for us to do the sadhana as well. Otherwise, when everyone gets up, we get caught in the humdrum of our life and we won't be able to do our sadhana. And the mind is also fresh. The body is also fresh when we can do the sadhana. Whatever it may be, if you are a singer, you sing the glory of the Lord. If you love praying, you have to have your own prayers and speak to Bhagwan. Namasmarana, the simplest sadhana that everyone can do. You're interested in the teachings of Bhagwan, study Bhagwan's teachings. Whatever the sadhana that we love that helps us to connect to Bhagwan. There are so many sadhanas that Bhagwan in his immense compassion has given to us. Singing Suprabhatam and connecting to Bhagwan, through Suprabhatam, or meditating upon the beautiful form of Bhagwan. And Bhagwan has given us this very simple form of meditation, Jyoti meditation, which all of us can easily do. And all these, or even, those who love chanting, they can do the chanting and learn the Vedic chants, and they can chant this early morning sadhana that we do. That will help us to progress in our lives. And this another, discipline that Bhagwan has given us. We are all in this organization. We all know it is Shri Sathya Sai Seva organization. Excuse me. The Seva itself is the highest spiritual discipline, isn't it? The Seva and Sadhana are the two pillars of this organization. See, we all, when we join, like the organization, I would say it is like getting free admission into the world's best spiritual university. That is what Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization is. And it is a free admission. And who is the chancellor of this university? The chancellor of the universe itself, isn't it? That is our greatest blessing. And it is a free entrance, free admission without any fees and also without any entrance test, isn't it? When we want to join, some Ivy League college or something, we have to study, we have to write the entrance test. But to come to Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization, there is not even an entrance test to get admission into this university. See, it is not that we go and seek Bhagwan. Bhagwan seeks out to us, isn't it? See, when we look at our own lives, how we have come to Swami's fold, Swami enters our lives, isn't it? Some are born in the families of devotees, and the devotees were devoted to Bhagwan for many generations. And to some, he reaches out to us through a dream, through a photograph, through a friend. This is how we come into Swami's fold. It is he who calls us. Once, a great devotee of Swami, Aldrakar, he asks Swami, we know that we love you, because we feel this warmth in our heart whenever we think of you. But how do we know that Swami loves us? See, what a profound question. And Swami, with great compassion, Swami replies, see, Bangaru, it is like this. None can love me without I loving them. Which means Swami loves us first. Only then we are able to think of him. We are able to love him. Even this love that we feel for him in our heart, it is his gift to us. He sows the seeds of love in our heart. So when we say that we are his devotees, it is up to us to nourish the seed, isn't it? That is why we need devotion to Bhagwan. And the duty itself done as devotion to Bhagwan, work done as worship, with an attitude of offering to Bhagwan. That is how Seva has to be done, the Seva that we do here in the organization. That's why, what Seva does to us is more important than what we do as Seva. Because our own connection with Bhagwan gets strengthened, our own devotion increases. Duty itself becomes, a devotion-oriented lifestyle. A duty-oriented lifestyle becomes devotion-oriented, where everything is done to please Bhagwan. And we have to fence this sapling that comes out of this seed of love with discipline. That is also very, very important. And the determination and discrimination to hold on to what helps us in our journey and to let go of what is unwanted for us in this journey with Bhagwan. All these 5 Ds are very, very important for us. Only then this love can become a huge fruit yielding tree, the bounty, which we share with our fellow beings. And with this love that we share with our fellow beings, the oneness that we recognize, it is the same Swami in me present in the Swami in all. That oneness, with that oneness, when we do Seva, such a Seva takes us to Bhagwan. See, Bhagwan says this Seva is called Paropakar. What is Paropakar? Swami says it is Para plus Upa plus Kara. Para means divinity, Upa means near, and Kara means to join. The Seva that we do must take us to Bhagwan, must join us with Bhagwan. And that is how we do Seva in this organization. And for this, our inner connection to Bhagwan through sadhana is very, very important. And these are some of the things that I wanted to share. And if we look at the 9-point code of conduct, this is the charter that Bhagwan has given us to the organization. Bhagwan has designed everything so beautifully for us. There are activities for Seva, there are activities for sadhana, isn't it? Daily prayer and meditation, and weekly ones, attending, doing family bhajans, and attending the Seva activities in the organization, and also sending our children for SSC. These are all the activities, and also regular study of Sai literature. Bhagwan, gives so much emphasis. Unless we study what he has told, how do we practice his teachings, isn't it? And his teachings are so simple, put in the form of Chinnakathas, parables, and simple analogies, so easy for us to follow. And that is the greatness of Satya Sai Avatar. And all of this is so easily available to us just at the click of a button through Prasanthi Connect, Sri Satya Sai Media Center website, isn't it? So he has designed everything for us. That's why I told he is the best teacher who has trained us, given the lesson plan, but it is up to us to write the exam so that we put an end to this MS batch, that cycle itself. There it ends for us and we are able to pass the exam. And another beauty of this 9-point code of conduct is, see, we all come to organization, we do Seva, we do Sadhana, all this we are doing. Some of us are SSC teachers and, many, almost everyone takes part in the Seva activities undertaken by the organization. But what happens is, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. We may compartmentalize our lives. Say weekends we come to Sai organization, Sai center, we are involved in all the activities there. And rest of the week, we become the same busybody that we are. We are lost in our worldly life. The focus may not be there on Bhagwan. But when we practice the 9-point code of conduct, the whole week we are able to be in connection, in touch with Bhagwan. A so-called Sai life on the weekends, non-Sai life on the weekdays. That problem will be overcome when we start practicing the 9-point code of conduct, because daily we have to meditate on Bhagwan. And if we have to take the SSC class the whole week, we have to prepare, isn't it? And if we are singing bhajans once a week, the whole week we have to practice the bhajan. And if we have to take part in the study circle, probably fortnightly we have to prepare. And some of the important things in the 9-point code of conduct, speak softly, obligingly, do not speak, ill of others, especially in their absence, and sealing on desires, especially all these, every moment we have to practice. And that's why so beautifully Bhagwan has given us, so that every moment, it is not just on weekends or some special days that we are thinking of Bhagwan. So our entire life itself is transformed into Swami oriented, life. That is the greatness of this avatar. And these are some of the things I wanted to share. And if there is any question, I will take. Yeah, Sarah.
If I want to share how you came into Swami's fold.
See, there are many senior devotees here, and really I am humbled to speak in front of all of you, because being in the organization, and especially the overseas devotees, they do so much of activity, their connection is so much. Every year they make it a point to come to Prasanthi Nilayam, and Sai Pilgrimage they undertake. And there are so many, many of you who have had darshan, sparshan, sambhashan with the Lord. And many of you, maybe been blessed to be born in, families devoted to Bhagwan. But for me, it was not like that. And when I had just gone to Sultanate of Oman on an assignment, I had taken up a job with the Ministry of Health there. And I did not know anything about Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. I had seen photograph, that's all. But I had not come across, anyone who is devoted to Swami or anything like that. And out of the blue one night, that was the time when I had left the family behind and I had gone alone. And it was a new country, new land, and I was posted in a very remote place. And everything is new, everyone is new, and I'm alone. And that was the time when Bhagwan appeared in my dream. And Swami asked, "Why have you not come to me?" And the way he was looking at me so intensely, and even in the dream I knew this is the God that I have been looking for. I was born into a spiritual, family, very spiritually inclined family, doing a lot of spiritual practices from my childhood. And when Swami asked this question, I just knew that this is the God, this is the Sadguru for me. And I asked, what should I do? And Bhagwan clearly instructed, tomorrow you go and meet Dr. Tulsi in the hospital and she will tell you. And this is what, and the dream ended. And the next day I went to hospital. I was just 2-3 days old in the hospital, and next day was a weekly holiday. Those days, Thursdays and Fridays were holidays for us in Middle East. So next day was a holiday. And on a holiday, like all the departments are closed and only the emergency department will be open, and one duty doctor will be there in the morning shift and one in the afternoon, one in the night. So because Swami has told me, I don't even know, Swami and all that. Bhagwan Baba, this Sathya Sai Baba has told me I have to go to hospital. That much I was very sure. Somehow, it had made such an impact on me that this is God. That's what I knew. And next day I went to hospital, and I do not know this doctor. I was very new, and nobody knows me there except our department people. And I just went and saw the board, who is on duty, and an Egyptian doctor's name was written, Dr. Salva. And I thought, okay, Swami said, Dr. Tulsi, let me go and see. And I went to the emergency. And an Indian lady, clad in sari, she just came immediately, and she came running to me and asked in Malayalam, "Are you Lata?" I said, "Yes." "How do you know my name?" She said, "Baba came in my dream last night and told, tomorrow Dr. Lata will meet you. And I was waiting for you." Then I said, "You were not supposed to be on duty today." She said, "Yes, I was also thinking, I am not on duty, I am not going to the hospital." She was coming from a place which was 86 kilometers from the place where I was posted as a doctor. And I was not supposed to come today, but Dr. Salva called me early morning and said, "I am not keeping well, can you do my duty?" And that's how I, came to the hospital, and I'm on duty. And Baba had told me, "You will come." And the next weekend she took me to a Sai center, And that is how my journey began with Sai organization, with Sai Center, and that is why I connect so much to all the devotees who are in the organization. It is so dear to me because that is where my training comes from. If I am sitting and speaking here, it is because of the Sai organization, the Seva that we used to do, and the Sadhana, the study circles, and all the training. And there were so many senior devotees who helped me so much to grow in the organization. And immediately they made me an SSC teacher, and somehow like the Seva also started, and I'm so grateful to the organization itself for this. And later that only I know brought me to Prasanthi Nilayam also. Yeah, this is how I came to Swami's fold. Thank you. Sai.
Doctor, your speech was very enlightening. I'd like to hear more on Seva, different forms of Seva and how devotees really connect with Swami. I also come from a family of Sai devotees, and while you're speaking, there's tears in my eyes. You're really inspired by your talk. But can you just enlighten a little bit on Seva?
See, Seva, the word itself, it's such a beautiful Sanskrit word. When we split it, Sa plus Eva, Seva. Sa means him, that is God. Eva means like. You become like God when you do Seva. That's why Swami said Paropakara. It should join you with God. That is the purpose for which Seva is done, and that is the purpose with which Seva is done here in Sathya Sai Seva organization. It's not like any other charitable organization, isn't it? So, as according to the teachings of Bhagwan, I would broadly categorize how Seva has to be done into 5 broad points. I would say 5 headings. Number 1 is the principle of unity. We have to recognize the oneness with the recipient of Seva. It is same Swami that is present. I am serving that Bhagwan in him with that, and it is the same divinity within me. It is the same divinity. So that oneness is very important. See, Swami himself says, when a thorn pricks your foot, then what happens? Not only the foot feels the pain, but the eyes start watering, and the hand rushes to pull out this thorn. Why? Because all these are the different parts of the same body. Similarly, we are all the different parts of this huge body of Swami. Naturally, when one suffers, it's natural for all of us, all the others, to rush to alleviate the suffering. With that feeling of oneness, you must do Seva. Then only it can take us to Swami. Otherwise, it just gets reduced to any other act of charity. That's all. And then Swami also says this purity aspect is very important. Not that, like lackadaisical way, or I have to do something, I'm involved in this Seva project. It is not like that. It is done as an offering to Bhagwan. See, when we are making some prasadam at home, when there is a satsang, how much of efforts we put in, isn't it? We purify everything. The best of the ingredients, the best of the vessels, and the best people will cook that day because it is to be offered to Swami as Naivedyam. It's the same way if we are able to offer every thought, word and deed of ours to Bhagwan. How much of efforts we will be putting in to purify that act itself, isn't it? With this feeling of purity, that Seva has to be done. And it is for Swami that I am doing the divinity principle, and not for anything else, without asking, what is in it for me? What am I going to get? Will I get recognition, or somebody will thank me, or my name and my fame will go up, or I will get a position or anything? Not for that. Without asking, what is in it for me? Swami alone, to please Swami alone, that I am doing this. And also quality versus quantity. It is the quality that matters. See, when the super specialty hospital started in 1992, that 100 rupee note contribution made by a primary, higher secondary school student, that Swami mentioned, publicly. Because Swami said this boy had done his own laundry. He has saved on his pocket money and he gave it to Bhagwan. And also, are we able to come out of our comfort zone to do Seva? That is the spirit of sacrifice is very important. See, for a millionaire to part with a few thousands, that may not be a big thing, but are we able to come out of our comfort zone? The spirit of sacrifice. Can we sacrifice something of ours, little bit of our time, money, energy, efforts, all these things go into Seva. Are we able to do it? Are we able to walk the extra mile? And that way, I am just talking about it, but I'm seeing all this in you. When we have come here, how much of love you are showering on us, and how much accommodative all of you have been. We have been staying in devotees' house, and they are, looking after all our needs, and they are taking us, and that itself is, it should. That is the spirit. That is what we see in our organization, isn't it? One Sai family. That is the love we experience here. And see, even today, the amount of seva that goes on in the organization and Bhagwan's mission, like the educational institutions, the hospitals, where everything is offered free of cost, not many people know about it. Just, a couple of years ago when I was doing night duty, the COVID time was over and the ashram was just open and darshan had begun, and a family from Hyderabad had come for darshan, and the lady in the family was not keeping well when I was on duty. She came to the hospital early hours of morning. We admitted her and we treated her, and next day she was discharged. Few hours later, then the husband comes and asks, where can I make the payment? Then one of our staff nurses explained, no, this is Swami's hospital and it's completely free of cost. He said, see, we walk in the middle of the night, get all the treatment, like, any good hospital, and you don't charge a penny here. I thought probably in Bhagwan Baba's hospital, the treatment is subsidized, but I did not know that it is completely free of cost. See, even today, many people do not know about it. Why? There is no pomp, there is no show, there is no propaganda, which means what? Seva has to be done as silently as possible. Otherwise, the very purpose for which seva is done, that itself will be lost. It is after all for Swami that we are doing and for nothing else. Not, seeking a personal reward or anything like that. I think these are some of the principles, with which seva has to be done. And seva is such a highest discipline that we ourselves feel happy, isn't it, when we serve somebody, seeing the smile on the face of someone. So it is something which gives us immediate result, I should say, ananda. It gives us so much happiness, we ourselves. It adds meaning to our life. And also when we especially see the, suffering of the needy, our sensitivity develops. That increases. When sensitivity comes in our heart, selfishness goes away. That is why seva purifies our heart by removing this selfishness. And also our ego gets humbled. See, there was, in the dental department of our hospital, this was shared by one of our dentist doctors. There was a lady who would come every year for seva, and she would be the seva dal in the department. That's all. She would be as a seva dal. And third year or something, when one of our own young doctors, this dental doctor, she was doing a procedure and she had some problem and just, she was looking what to do and all that. This lady who was helping her as a seva dal, and this is an elderly lady, and our doctor is a very young doctor who has just joined the hospital soon after finishing her graduation. And this elderly lady, the seva dal who was helping her, very unassuming, very simple looking lady, she says, doctor, you can do this way, you can do this way. No, she just tried to. And our doctor was surprised and she asked, Akka, what is you know about this? You are a dentist. And she said, yes, I am the head of the department of dentistry in Madurai Dental College. It's a famous dental college which belongs to the state. And she was the head of the department there. And she would come every year without revealing her identity. She would be like any other seva dal, ushering the patients in and helping the doctor. She had never revealed her identity. This is how, this is the way that we should do seva. And this is what I can share with you. Sairam.
Thank you very much.
Like to share some of your SSC experience.
Yes. say experience, yes. That is how my, Seva began in the organization. When I joined the center, there were only 2 gurus and they wanted me to take up this, and they gave me a crash course of training and they told me. But our educational coordinator, she was she's Swami's student. She did B.Ed in Swami's college, and Brindavan, I think only 2 batches were offered and Bhagwan had opened, it was a 1-year B.Ed course, and she was the first batch student and she was our educational coordinator, a highly dedicated lady, and she now serves in the primary school here in Swami's school. And she would insist, all the gurus, we would have regular meetings with the guru, with our coordinator and the senior gurus, and all our senior gurus and the coordinator herself would insist that we study teachings of Bhagwan, do study circle, and also get trained in the shloka chanting, and especially the Gita shlokas, the Bhaja Govindam. Intensive training would go, and they would hammer onto us, like how the teachers have to be. And one thing she would insist was, see, you are teaching silent sitting to children. That is one of the 5 teaching techniques, isn't it? The silent sitting. Are you doing Jyoti meditation every day? Are you getting up and doing Jyoti meditation? This is what our coordinator would insist. If you are not doing, there is no point in. She would point blank. She was so disciplined lady, and this is how she would insist. And again she would tell, give this example of Bhagwan, that the tank and the taps, the water in the tank, the water that comes through the taps is the same as the water that is in the tank, and the guru is the tank, and the students of the tap, the children or the taps. And another thing that Bhagwan tells us, this Balvikas, this SSC children are our Prema Putras, isn't it? Not Kama Putras. Our own children, biological children are Kama Putras. Swami says they are our Prema Putras. And this is what our senior gurus would tell us, how much of love you should be showering upon them. And this teaching, especially when I started in the beginning, it was not an easy thing. 1 whole week I had to prepare, because there would be so many unexpected questions and we have to seize that opportunity to impress upon the children. And one of our senior gurus, when they came for a conference in Prasanthi Nilayam, and she expressed this to Bhagwan, Swami, you tell that SSC is so important and we are all working so hard and we are teaching the children, Swami. But so many children do not listen to us and we do not see much transformation at all, Swami. Then Swami told, these children are like passing clouds. They just come and go. The sadhana is for you, being a SSC teacher. For your transformation I have given that. The children come and go. You don't bother about it. It is my job to bring in transformation, not yours. But I have given it to you as the highest sadhana. And that you do sincerely, and that is what is necessary. And this I always think, this is this highest sadhana that Bhagwan has given us, and to be very loving and to be kind and compassionate, because especially on weekends, we are hard pressed for time, and that is when the SSC classes are there. And we used to have in our own homes, the children would come and we would have these Balvikas classes, and it would not be easy, but as a sadhana that has helped me grow and also to study mainly the teachings of Bhagwan, that I would say that has that come a long way because of that SSC training. And in fact my own prayer to Bhagwan when Swami came in my dream and when I started going to the center, the only prayer that I had was my children should become Balvikas students. That was my prayer to Bhagwan, and Bhagwan answered it. So that I consider it as the greatest blessing. If at all I am probably I am here, today and speaking here, all the training comes from being an SSC teacher. And we had such fantastic senior gurus and coordinators who taught us.